seems to be a wee bit of panic in the old comments for the title that I've made the show, so I apologise if it's caused any offence or anybody is seriously panicking. Yeah, Thelwell apparently wants Sean Dyche as the next Rangers boss. Now, the reason that I've went with that, I'll just give you a bit of background. It's came from Football Insider, who normally with stuff with Scotland, they're dreadful, but they do have good sources down south. Doesn't mean that Sean Dyche is going to be the next Rangers manager. Don't panic. Don't panic. But they normally do have decent info when it comes to stuff down south because they talk a lot more down south, agents and stuff, etc. But anyway, hello everybody, welcome along to your afternoon rabble here on the Rangers Rabble Podcast YouTube channel, brought to you in association with Mortgage Haven UK and Blue Unicorn Digital, and we're also part of the Talk Sport Fan Network. Joining me today, as that was my most professional intro ever. Joining me today is our good friend and happy man, Alan. Alan, how are you?
Yeah, very happy, aye. Very happy, aye. Well, I'm off tomorrow, aren't I? I'm off tomorrow, so Saturday, Sunday and Monday. So aye, just raring to get my work finished. And then once I finish my work, it's the movie review show. So I don't know when it'll be. I don't know when you'll be uploading that, but me and Brian and Trev are recording that later on. So you can tune into that one. But I'm good. How are you, mate?
Yes, I'm all well. I'm all well. I will be putting that out either over the weekend or Monday night. It will be one of those days.
Cool.
And tonight at 5 p.m. for members, we have the Rabble Wrestling Show, which was pre-recorded, which will be out tonight at 5 o'clock. So plenty happening here as always. So please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe as well. And if you want to help the podcast grow and keep continuing to grow, then you can do what Blue Boy 1872 has done and become a member. Either on YouTube or Patreon, links in the description, all video, all live on YouTube, and then all the live shows are then uploaded onto our Patreon as well. So you can get it on both. It just depends on what you like. You like just listening to the show and not having to see this face, then Patreon's for you. If you like the live interaction stuff, then sign up on YouTube as a member. Right, okay. And as always, folks, and I will say this, question of the day is now on you, not on me. Question of the day is now on the viewers. So get your questions of the day in the comments, and the one that I like the most, I will use, and we will use that as question of the day. Alan, Thelwell apparently wants Sean Dyche as the next Rangers boss. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I don't really watch a lot of football down south, right? I'm not a fan of EPL. I just don't like the monster that's become. So I don't really watch enough of it to have a massive opinion on Dyche as a manager. But from reading all these comments, people are not happy one bit. I mean, I don't think anybody in the comments here, Martin, has said that they want him. I mean, they're quite, what's the word I'm looking for? They're quite staunch and they're unsupport of him. So I'm just going to need to accept other people's opinion that are more clued up on it than me. So I would say if a lot of the Rangers fans and our channel members aren't happy about him, then it's a no from me. So it doesn't sound great.
I mean, look, Dado Puzzle's Blue Boots, he's really not happy.
Yeah.
I'll be giving up my season ticket. Don't want this guy anywhere near my club. Cammy's saying I'd take Ange before Dyche. James Cameron, I mean, wow, that coming from James is quite explicit language. Won't be back watching another season of turgid football. He's also saying that Football Insider exclusive ignore no one with any credibility is reporting it. And Christchurch, afternoon all, don't fancy Dyche much either, to be honest. So it would appear, Alan, that it's not a popular choice.
No, it doesn't sound it, does it? I mean, especially there's people in the comments saying they would rather have Neil Lennon or Ange as our manager than Dyche, and obviously there's no love lost between Neil Lennon and Ange. But for seeing it here, that's a non-starter. I think if the new owners have got any sort of feelers and they're putting these things out and they know how the fans are taking to things, they would be instantly backtracking for that one. But as I said earlier on before we come on, we've got no sway over this. I mean, if they decide if that's who Thelwell wants to bring in, we can just say no as much as we want. But at the end of the day, that's what Tim said earlier on. He sacked him. He's also sacked Dyche. So, I mean, if somebody sacks you, I mean, do you want to go back and work for him again? Or somebody sacks you, is there any love lost between them two? So, as you said earlier on, it might just be a baseless rumour that the media like to stick out there and chatting about things. There's Ian saying he's 14-1. So, as I said,
it was. It has been claimed there was an altercation between Dyche and obviously Nathan Patterson. At a training camp. I don't know if any truth in it, but that appears to be rubbing people up the wrong way as well, Al.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good, does it? I mean, I would actually take Patterson back. I don't know how long he's got left in his Everton contract, but obviously he's not kicked off how he was expecting things to go down there, but I would take him back. I don't know if that's in the cards, but no. Obviously, if Dyche is coming back and he's got a bad history with Patterson, then it's a non-starter as well. But as I said, I don't think it will happen. I don't think it will happen with Dyche. And for the fans are saying here, we can only hope it's not going to happen. It's going to be a pretty dampener if Dyche is announced as a new Rangers manager with 3 people turning outside Ibrox, won't they? And they'll be telling him F off. We don't want you, beat it.
I mean, look, Jimbo's kind of going along the same lines as you there. Look, at the end of the day, if that's what Thelwell wants, that's what he wants. Wouldn't be my choice, but these guys need to be able to do what they think is right. And I've lost the comment now. I wish I'd saved it. Did I save it? No, I didn't. And apologies for whoever put it in. I can't remember your name. But somebody put typical fan arrogance.
Yeah, I did. I seen that comment.
Is it fan arrogance, or is it just that's who we don't want him, or we want him, or what?
I don't know. I mean, see, at the end of the day, fans are the lifeblood of any club. I mean, look at how we were down the division. See if you didn't have all that fanfare and the fans going to support the club when we were in the lower divisions. I mean, the club might not have come back to where it is. So fans have got a massive voice, and I think fans should be listened to more than technically what they are. I mean, at the end of the day, see if the fans aren't happy with a manager, we talk with our feet and we don't go. So eventually something needs to change. But I don't know. I mean, end of the day, if they're coming in as Thelwell comes in, you would want to think you would get the fans on side. And if he's turning out and saying, "Oh, the fans don't want this manager," but I suppose see at the end of the day, maybe he's got a great working relationship with Dyche, as we said. Maybe he sacked him and they're still amicable, or we don't know what's going on behind the scenes here. But it's just one of these things, isn't it? Every fan does have an opinion, not necessarily always right, and they're not always necessarily wrong. So
no, but would you listen if you were a board member? Would you listen to a supporter? I mean, let's face it. These guys are running a football club. The new owners are running a football club, and yes, of course, you take fan opinion on cultural stuff and the history of the football club and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're a board member who's sunk in what 100 million quid.
Well, suppose at the end of the day, if it's your club, you can do what you want. It doesn't matter if somebody's going to turn around and say, "Oh, we don't want him," but I would think, as I said earlier on, the majority of the fans don't want him. So that's not really. You've got to put the feelers out. You've got to be in touch with your fans. That's what I think. You need to be in touch with your fans and see what they like and what they don't like. And as I said earlier on, if we don't like it, tough, and a word, isn't it? Because it's up to them. As you said, it's their club. They'll run it how they want.
Well, Fighting Fish 990 is saying, listen, he might not play the best footy, but at least we will win a lot more games and actually have a stake. Better than any manager we've had for a few years. Is that fair? I'm thinking back, previous managers, so Barry would count as that. Clement, Gio, Beale. Is Dyche better than all them?
Well, as I said earlier, I don't know enough about Dyche, but see, to be honest, we need to get back to winning the league. That's pretty much what we want to do. I wouldn't care next season if we won the league by winning 1-0 and playing the most boring football. That's just the way I see it, because we need to get back into the Champions League and we need to start winning the league and a certain dominance in Scottish football again. So, you never know. See if Dyche might come in and he might be the best manager we've had for the last 20 years. You never know. Things might just click. He might come in and love the club. It might last 6 months. You know what I mean? The management team, the owners seem quite ruthless. So nah, I wouldn't want Russell Martin, as Gaz is saying there. I wouldn't want Russell Martin there at all. I didn't rate him as a player, and I wouldn't want him there either. I know a lot of people are saying Muscat and things like that. Gerrard, part of me would like. It would be good to see Gerrard coming back for the whole nostalgia thing. But as I said on the show on Tuesday, I would only want Gerrard coming back if I knew who his assistants were going to be, because Gerrard on his own doesn't tick the box for me. If it's Gerrard on his own with people we've never heard of, I don't think I'd be enamoured with that.
And by the way, there's fighting fish again. Just quickly, remember we were all screaming for Gio and Beale. So yeah, fans do get it wrong as well.
They do, aye.
Absolutely do. I want to bring in this point for Chris, but super chat. Thank you very much, Chris, for your support, my friend. And it's actually a really good point about Dyche. He got Burnley into Europe and only spent 1.5 million to keep them in the EPL, and he kept Everton up after a points deduction. Decent manager.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, the comments at the start were quite negative towards him, but as I said, I wouldn't turn around and say I know enough about him as a manager to turn around and say I don't want this guy being the manager. As I said, he might come in and he might do brilliant. That's sometimes managers just hit it off at a club, don't they? I mean, they might have poor runs and they come into a club and this could be his bread and butter. This could be he might find it. Oh, I'll find a way to beat the low blocks, and I'll beat a way to beat these teams that just sit in and don't attack us. And obviously they've been attacking us a lot more than what they used to do. But it might come in. It might come in and do well. I would just be actually happy. It's getting to the stage now I'd actually like to see something getting announced a wee bit quick. I would like the manager to be back technically before the season finishes, so he can see exactly the dross that he's got to work with, because it is dross, isn't it?
Yes. By the way, this point, and by the way, thank you very much to Chris there for the super chat and the support. It's greatly appreciated. Blue North Sparky, right? Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, Alan, right? We need a manager that's better than Rodgers. Mourinho would be box office, not British, but a proper manager. Do we need a manager, Alan, who is better than Brendan Rodgers? And the reason that I ask that question is nobody in their right mind is going to sit here and say that Barry Ferguson is a better manager than Brendan Rodgers, right? Because that would just be nuts. But he's beaten the last 2 Old Firm games. Our problem has been against the rest of the teams. So do we necessarily need a manager who's better than Brendan Rodgers?
I mean, Brendan Rodgers does technically have a bit of stock in him, doesn't he? Because he's been down south and he's obviously managed a big club like Liverpool. You know what I mean? So he does have I wouldn't really say box office, because I mean, as we were saying earlier, Mourinho is a box office manager. Brendan Rodgers is a good quality manager. He does have a lot down south, but the calibre of managers we've actually had recently, I mean, it's not been Pepper, piss off. Sorry. The managers we've had recently have been come on.
It's attacking the cats on
I know,
the
I don't know.
podcast.
She's put Pepper, come on. She's a nuisance. Maybe she could be the new manager. She's quite persistent. No, but I mean, I would just, as I said, I would just like to see somebody coming in and getting something done. But obviously, we're talking about Rose or Rosa, however you want to pronounce it. It could be anybody could be good. I know the fans did want Gio. I was quite happy to see Gio, but the style of football he was playing was, you got to sort of take your blinkers off sometimes, don't you? With the Rangers team, and think not every ex-player is turning out to be a good manager.
I think she just planted that water in your glass.
She did. Do you know what? See, every time I've got a cup of water, I can't have it at the table because she just either wants to drink it or knock it off. But she's drinking the water. I know.
Well,
she was distracting me. It was probably waffling on absolute nonsense. I couldn't see the screen because she pressed the button and I couldn't even see my screen.
Well, there you go. It's Attack of the Animals on the Rangers Rabble podcast. There we go. What was her name?
Pepper,
right? Pepper. Get off screen, Pepper. You're fogging the limelight.
I didn't name her Pepper. My daughter named her Pepper, so I don't think she'll go away though. If I put a glass in the ground, she'll knock it over and the carpet will be soaked with water. Sophie.
Right. Okay. Right. If you're going to shout on people, Alan, you go on mute.
I know, but I didn't have time. Take her
Right,
away.
Marco Rose and Steven Gerrard are obviously the two names that are still linked heavily with the job, Al.
Mhm.
I'm not sure on the whole Dyche thing, to be honest with you. Like you say, it could be one of the things that he comes in and does an absolutely brilliant job, and we've all got egg in our face. As Cammy's asking, "Where's Salt?" It's the cat's got to be called Salt. But
Mm.
it would appear, Al, that Marco Rose and Gerrard are still the two big favourites.
Well, they seem to be the names that are high on the bookies list, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, Rose. This is one of these things where you're bringing in a European manager again, and do we want that though? I mean, I know everybody was like, "Oh, let's get a British manager in, or let's get somebody that knows the league." And then Barry's come in, and he did start off technically well. Obviously, we done well with beating Fenerbahce in that, but I was an advocate. I was delighted when Barry actually came in, mainly because Neil McCann was in his backroom staff. But this formation he's playing at the back as well, the 3-5-2, the 5-3-2, and all that type of stuff. And but I think somebody did put something in there. As I said, somebody with Neil McCann. As I said in the pod the other day, that I would like Neil McCann to be involved somehow, because every time I hear him talking, he does know his football. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a toss up. I
Well,
mean,
I kind of agree with Scott here. He thinks that the 49ers are a
yeah,
lot more organised and prepared than anyone is expecting. I'm sure they already know who they want and have them chosen. I'm pretty sure I 100% agree with him. I don't think
yeah,
these guys aren't coming in and going, right, once we're in the door, we'll see who we want. These guys know.
yeah. I know. No, I think they do. I mean, obviously they're a big conglomerate. They know what they're doing. They've got past histories. I know what they're doing, and it's smart business people. As you said, they're not just going to come in and say, right, the season's over and whatever. Let's start looking for a new manager. I mean, they will have. I mean, look how this was kept in the dark for months, maybe even a year. That this was
Mhm.
all kept quiet. So they probably do keep things in the back burner, and they're speaking to people. I mean, let's not forget we're in the new modern age where you can do Zoom calls with people. You don't actually need to meet them face to face. So
Mhm.
you can do a lot more interviews over the video calls and that type of stuff. But I don't. As I said earlier on, I would really hope that we've got somebody. The short list is right down at least. And as I said, see before the season ends, I think we need to get a manager in who's at least even the last couple of games of the season can sit and watch sit and actually watch it and say, right, he's no good enough. He's no good enough. We'll maybe keep him. Me personally, there's probably about 5 or 6 players I would actually keep in this actual squad. So the manager's got a hell of a lot of work to do. And I think obviously we need to do these qualifiers for the summer as well. So
Right, well, Alan, I can confirm that the sun has coming out to play, as you can tell
I
by
see
the
that.
one side of my face. I've tried
I
to
see that.
block as much of the sunlight as possible, but it's decided, nah, the sun is coming out to play. Just quickly on Finlay Curtis, I know that he's going to get a scan on his recent injury that he picked up, which is absolutely gutting. So we don't actually.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be a wee announcement when we came on, but we don't actually know the scope of the injury, but I would imagine that's him out for the rest of the season.
Season.
Not that there's much of the season to go, Alan, but I'm absolutely gutted for him because I thought for sure he's going to get minutes, he's going to get games,
Yeah.
and the injury's just set him back.
See, to be honest, mate, I felt really bad for Findlay Curtis when he was played. When Ferguson played him against Aberdeen, because he pretty much played him as a left back, and it's like that's no use to the boy. Honestly, for me personally, I thought he'd done him a disservice by sticking him in that role. Granted, it's good first team, it's a good first team experience, but that's not the guy's position. So I just didn't agree with that at all. And it's one of these one of these things. It's I'm looking at Ferguson thinking, well, his team selections have been a bit all over the place now, and I was quite keen when I heard him getting announced that it was maybe it could be in contention for the job, but team selections and subs and all that. I mean, why is he not playing Cortez as well? I mean, we're having to shell out about 4.5 million for this guy. Surely he should be playing him every single last game of the season. And there you go. Curtis is a better left back than Shefty. Blue Mark, yeah, I probably do agree with you on that one. But Cortez should be playing. Cortez should be playing every single game, considering the fact that we're spending all that money on the guy. But I suppose, remember at the start of the season when he came up against that right back at Hearts, he just didn't look up for it.
Can I
So
just
maybe that was
interject? He's not a better left back than Jeffy. People
it.
see the way that people go after Jeffy. Yeah, do you know what? He's made a few mistakes. He's been caught over his shoulder a few times for some goals. The boy's 20. He's going to get
Still
better.
learning.
He's a
Yeah,
really, really good attacking left back. He's great at running with the ball. He's going to get better. People need to
yeah,
lay off Jeffy's back a wee bit, in my opinion.
yeah. There you go. Martin says it. Lay off Jeffy. I actually did when I think it was Clermont. He was playing. I'm sure he played Jeffy at the left wing, and he was playing Ridvan at left back, and it really seemed to work all right. And then for some strange reason, he decided to put Jeffy at left back and was playing Ridvan at left wing, and it just wasn't as good. That's just the Clermont factor, isn't it? I'm just actually really delighted that guy's gone. He was just a. But then again, you're seeing the crap that he's actually got to work with. He had to work with, and then obviously the crap that Ferguson's got to work with. But the new manager will be looking at this and thinking, oh, I'm chief of a manager, and you're actually looking at it, you're thinking, they players they're just no all up for it, are they? They're just, where would you start? It is an actual big job that this new manager does have on his hands.
And look, just going back to Jeffy, I didn't realise the conversation was going to go this way, but it has. Aye, all right. Do you know what? He's not the greatest left back in the world, right? But he's not the worst, and he's going to get better. Yes, is he better played as a left wing back or even a left winger? Possibly. Is that somewhere we could look to move him? Possibly. But he's
Yeah,
going to get better. Just this absolute hatred for Jeffy at left back is beyond me. I don't understand it.
I think, to be honest, I don't think our left back positions are great. I've never been sold in Ridvan, to be perfectly honest with you. I've really not. There's all these rumours into it. He's going back to Turkey. Every 6 months he's going back to Turkey, and we never seem to. He's still here. But if it was me, I would probably get rid of Ridvan. I think he's far too small, and he gets done in the box for headers and things like that. He's not, for a player of his age as well. I think we should be moving him on to get a wee bit of money. But I know what you mean about Jeffy. There is a decent wee player in there that can maybe see it, but
Yeah, but
defensively
maybe
he has
hatred's
let us
maybe
down.
hatred. Sorry, Alan. Maybe
Yeah,
hatred's a bit too
yeah.
far. I
But
apologise
his
for using the word hatred, right? But the
no,
dislike.
you're on your soapbox there. Yeah,
I
you're
was, I
on your
was, I was. I
soapbox
got a
there
wee
for a
bit ahead
minute.
of
You
myself.
were,
I'm
you
sorry.
did,
I
you did.
apologise. But the
I know.
dislike for Jeffy at left back, I think, is wrong. I
Oh,
really
I
do.
wouldn't.
I think
No,
there's a
no,
player there.
yeah, I think the whole thing with me with Jeff is he started off pretty bad in pre-season. I don't think he looked very good at all. But then I think for me personally, he garnered a lot of sympathy when he gets sent off in
Mhm,
the. Remember where he's a fake elbow when he gets sent off, and
mhm.
everybody was just like, "That's no fair to the boy." And for me personally, that's how it's lynched. It's latched onto him. But I don't think he's that good defensively. He is good going forward, but then again, when he's going forward, I don't think he's at much an end product on the ball either, which is something that could be worked on. So
Yes.
maybe left back isn't technically his best position, but these are things that as I say, there's only 20, so these are things that he can actually get if you bring in a good coach, can get coached on. But I think for me, we would need to be getting a new left back as well. Um,
Yeah,
Redvan's
listen,
missing me.
there's a lot of positions we need to get. Let's be
Yeah,
brutally
a
honest.
lot.
A lot of
Yeah.
positions. Gordon Smith has been out talking in his usual newspapers, and he has said that he believes that Rangers can win the title next season, and he cites Ange coming into Celtic as a sort of prelude to that. I can't think of the right word, so I'm just using prelude. I know it doesn't fit there, right? Example. There we go. He's using
Yeah.
Ange as an example of that. And I don't think there's anything controversial in saying that. Obviously, regardless of what happens with us, Alan, Celtic will start next season as favourites for the league,
Yeah.
as they do every single year. But aye, absolutely. Of course, we can go on and win the league next year.
Don't see why not. It happened with Ange, remember? When Ange came in, we'd won the league. Celtic weren't looking that good. Ange came in and won the league. That's where people are forgetting things. We don't, for me, it's not going to be a simple case of, oh, we need 2 or 3 seasons or whatever, because Celtic could just be really bad one season. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. Celtic haven't really been that good this season up against us, but
Mhm.
they've been good against the smaller teams, which is where we are failing. And they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say that they're the best football wise for what I really see them. Obviously, when it comes to us, we've been beating them and quite. I wouldn't use the word easily, but it's a quite concise victory.
Emphatically.
Yeah, I know. So we've got nothing to fear for them. It's just the other teams, and I think it. I don't know if it's the players not getting up for these games, or maybe as Barry's saying, and I can actually feel his passion and his fed upness when he's telling these players. I'm telling them to do stuff and they're not doing it. And it's like, see if that's me and you're a football player, Martin, and I say, see when you go out there and you do this and you do that and you don't do it, but you're not playing again. But I don't know why he's not saying that to them. Does he need the whole 11 in him and he can't just turn around and say, oh, what you doing? Remember, obviously, the thing where he gave Tav the instructions as well. And it's like Tav didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I don't know if that's Barry's messages not getting out properly or Tav didn't understand them. So I don't know. Maybe he's trying to tell them things that they're not understanding. But for me, he's fed up. Maybe even if you said to him, do you want the Royal Rangers job? He's like, I can't be bothered. If you get rid of a group of players and you give me 100 million to buy a brand new team, I would take it. But there's a lot of
crazily, Alan, we're going for 3 Old Firm wins in a row.
I know.
And
exactly.
They are miles ahead of us in the league and they're going to win a treble, and we're going for 3 Old Firm wins in a row.
But that's the whole point. Is I used to always say to my pals, seasons aren't win and lost in Old Firm games. They're not, because if that's
the case, if both teams are playing well.
If it's tight and things like that, but it's not the be all and end all. Old Firm games are pretty much for bragging rights. But if we were doing well against all the other teams, we'd be canting this league, because Celtic would be in our dust, but we've just threw it all away. That's just for us. We've just not been performing against the smaller teams. Team selections, obviously injuries don't do us very well either, which is another thing in recruitment. I mean, let's face it, when everybody thought Proper was coming for 20 and he's a captain, you're thinking, oh, here we go. I mean, that's something that we're needing across the pitch, is more captains and things like that. And he's been an absolute disaster. And I said a few weeks ago, I wouldn't be expecting him to see him anywhere near a Rangers team again. But then Barry lines up with a 3-man defence. When you're going to play, he's playing him as you don't need 3 centre halves playing against St Mirren. I don't get it.
He's going to go with the 3 against Celtic, though.
I know he is. 100% know he's going to do that. I know, and it's like.
And by the way, just quickly, Paul's saying, Paul, if you get Dyche, you will regret it, from an Everton fan. So there you go. You heard it here first. You absolutely heard it here first. By the way, just on the weekend's game, I have to ask, Guard of Honour, Alan?
No. I wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it for us. At the end of the day, they wouldn't do it for us.
And rightly so.
No, I know I wouldn't do it. It's just, it is a respect thing. See if it was any other team and you've came second. See, if I was going to say if it was Aberdeen, but no, I wouldn't do it for Aberdeen either. Right?
No,
just say it was Motherwell, right? You've got to give the team a bit of respect. But at the end of the day, they don't give us respect. So no, 100%. No, I know for a fact they wouldn't do it for us. So
no, well, they didn't do it for us after we won the 55, did they?
Yeah, so it's just tit for tat. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. No matter what happens, it's never going to happen. So for me, no, I would actually be this.
I don't actually know if we played them the game after we won the league, to be fair. So there would be no Guard of Honour. I get that.
Yeah, but you're just saying we wouldn't have gave them a Guard of Honour anyway.
No,
I know what you mean.
Absolutely,
no, definitely not. Definitely not. It's like a Guard of Honour. They would be tripping them. You know what I mean? Tripping them all. It's like running the gauntlet when you were young. They'd be walking through the middle.
I don't agree with Guards of Honour in general. Anyway, they were talking about it on TalkSport, actually.
Aye, so they said,
and Simon Jordan was in the middle. He's like that. Well, I think they're a lot of nonsense, but it's part of the tradition of football. But you've got 2 clubs that are, it's a serious rivalry. You know how you don't get that down south. You know how they've got pretend derbies.
They're fake rivalries.
I mean, like, unless you go down the lower divisions and then you've got proper derbies.
But not in the EPL. No, definitely.
I'm trying to think, maybe Arsenal and Tottenham, if you can even call that a derby. I don't know.
I know, but it's not. But to me, that's not. See, at the end of the day, Rangers and Celtic's derbies are totally different, right? Both in Glasgow, right? But you've got a whole sectarianism bile that makes it. I don't agree with all that, because we've got friends and family members that are Celtic fans, right? I don't agree with the whole sectarian bile, but it's never going to go away on their side or our side, and that's the whole powder keg that makes it such a vicious rivalry. It's not 2 clubs for Glasgow. That's just. I mean, we could be playing different parts of it. I mean, if Rangers moved to Motherwell, you know what I mean, it would still be the bitter sectarian rivalry between the 2 clubs. That's pretty much what it is. It's pitting Protestants against Catholics, and obviously we've got Catholics and Protestants playing our team, but that's just the culture of Scottish football. That's just what it is. But no,
Cammy's saying Liverpool versus Everton. That is not a rivalry. They walk to the game together.
No, it's like that's what I'm saying. You can have city rivalries because they come from the same city, but ours is steeped in sectarianism. and you can't change it. These
Well, it's
teams don't
steeped in
have it.
that, but it's also steeped in competition as well.
Yeah, because I
Between the
suppose at
two
the end of the
dominant
day,
forces.
exactly. That's a good one.
There's
Yeah,
loads of different reasons why it's such a
yeah.
massive,
The two
massive
best
rivalry.
teams, the two best teams is Real Madrid and Barcelona. I mean, they're rivaled. That's quite a big rivalry, but it's not as. I mean, I don't think that the hatred in the Old Firm games it's not really there anymore either. You know what I mean?
What about handyman spot on? What about a guard of honour with water pistols?
Yeah, just Czerny's
Just
there as
get
well. You know?
Cherny. He'll
Yeah.
sort it out.
As long as any Celtic fans don't get soaked in the sort of melee
Yes,
of getting,
then it's
yeah,
fine. Then it's safe.
yeah,
And
then it'd be all right. Then it'd be all
according to
right.
Gaz, if you type in Celtic meltdown, I come up on Celtic pods having supposed meltdown over Rangers.
We don't
Like,
have meltdowns. That's the whole point. We
what
don't
is a
have
a
meltdowns.
meltdown, right? Technically, what is a meltdown?
I would just say that probably a meltdown was when you were cussing out people for no supporting Jeffy. That's
Well,
probably
is that a
a mini
meltdown? Well,
meltdown. I would say
see if
you
that
were getting close to a meltdown. I'm
see
kidding
if
on you,
that's
but
if that. I mean, I remember once. I think it was after we get pumped in an old firm or something. I think I went on a rampage about how the players weren't good enough, etc., etc.
aye, but
But
that's not a meltdown. I mean,
if that's what's classed as a meltdown, then
I know, but that's showing support. I mean, you can turn around. I mean, would you rather have a meltdown or would you rather just one of these happy clappers and like, oh, everything's going to be fine and you know what I mean? It's the passion you have as a supporter. You know what I mean?
oh, so
They have the
a
meltdowns,
meltdown is when you're overly upset about something that's not upsetting, like people chewing near me when I can't handle people eating next to me. I
especially if it's
lose,
onions, and you're drinking
especially
milk.
if it's onions, especially if it's onions.
Onion breath. No,
So
there's
technically, if
nothing
I'm
worse
having
than
a
that.
meltdown over that, I would, and I do have meltdowns over
Do
that.
you? Aye.
So
We all have
basically,
meltdowns.
what you're saying is no to a guard of honour. Absolutely under
Not a
no
guard of honour.
circumstances.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't do it. I mean, what would
Nobody
you do
should.
if what would you do if Barry actually said that to him? You're going to have a guard of honour. I mean, I mean, can you not participate in it? I mean, I don't know if
If
these
I was
things
a
are
player,
allowed.
I would refuse.
No, but that's what I mean.
The greatest rivals.
Would you not participate in it? I mean, I notice all these you've got the rainbow armbands and all that things, and people don't involve in it for religious reasons and all that type of stuff, and the poppies, and obviously there's a date who doesn't wear the poppies, I won't even mention his name, but it's like things like that. You can opt out, but I don't think you would be allowed to opt out. I'd
I
take
worked
in.
for a guy that chews yogurt. What?
How choose yoga?
What?
I would report him to HR immediately.
Yeah,
That's not
he
acceptable.
would be sacked, put in a cage, and never let out. Um,
For doing yoga, I know.
yes.
I'm hoping there's bits in the yoga.
Even if there's bits, you don't chew yogurt. That is
Strange.
disgusting behaviour. Anyway, being upset about your rivals getting a takeover despite winning a treble, that's a
That is a
meltdown.
meltdown.
That
That
is
is a
that
meltdown. Yeah,
that is the definition of a meltdown. That is
yeah.
the absolute definition of a meltdown. And on that note, we shall leave it there for today, folks. Please, please, please make sure that you like and subscribe to the show. The more likes we get, the more subscriptions we get, the more people that watch, and then the more people that we can get on, the better interviews that we can do. Technically, you chew a Muller corner. That is true.
That's got
That is
bits in it.
true.
No. But if it's a plain yogurt,
Oh,
yeah. We need
I
to
mean
find
that.
out more about this. You need to ask
Yeah,
the guy what brand he's chewing and all
this
that
is a
type of thing.
conversation for another day, but it's a conversation that I think we need to have.
Yeah, no, it's the deep logical questions of the universe. These people need
Yeah,
outed. Yeah.
that was a good
You know,
question of the day. It was just too late. It was
it
just too
was,
late.
wasn't it? I know, that is.
Aye. Anyway, let's leave it there, folks. Thank you very much for watching. We are back tomorrow for your afternoon rabble at 12:30. Tomorrow night at 7:30 for your Friday night rabble. No, they're not getting shorter, Jimbo. The afternoon rabble is always half an hour.
It's
Always been
35
half an
minutes
hour.
early.
And we're nearly on 35 minutes, as Alan has just reminded me. So get the likes in. If you punch yourself, it hurts. Are you strong or just weak? Both. Absolutely both. Anyway, before I rabble on any longer, pun intended, folks, thank you so much for watching. Please help to continuously support the show so we can get bigger and get better and get more guests on for you. So enjoy the rest of your day. Hold on. All right, sorry, no, I thought somebody had put in a super chat. My apologies, they didn't. Right, folks, go and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for all the support, and we shall speak very, very soon.